Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Fuck yes.
Oh, yes, indeed. We are so happy to be with you this week, as we always are.
Yes.
My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
First of all, I want to tell everybody, thank you for listening. We had a really good week. A lot of people tuning in this week, which is
and
great.
New ones. A
New
terrific
people,
week.
Different countries. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much. We love you to death. Thanks for the new iTunes reviews.
Yeah.
You guys, that means the world. So please also, other people, get on there. iTunes, please review. It takes 30 seconds. Get on there, sign in. It really means the world to us. It's super important. So if you like what we're doing here, please let us know on there.
Nothing gives me a boner like seeing people quote things from the show.
Yeah,
and then in iTunes reviews saying something about the show.
Yeah.
With their
It's great.
unbelievable
I'm following
5 stars.
instructions.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Great.
That's our. Let's keep that going. I'm following instructions. Our own little
middle-aged
inside.
white men. It's great.
It's the best. So also
Best
too, I want to remind you guys, little house cleaning here. Patreon page is there. Patreon.com/crime and sports, or I think it is. So if you want to throw us a few bucks, there's some rewards. You get all sorts of stuff. Totally voluntary. No big deal if you don't want to, but hey, it helps us. The iTunes review is free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, to want to thank somebody that is a really big supporter of the show. Always shouts us out. And a sweet woman, and she's just a huge supporter of us. Just really pushes us to everybody. Lynette Scary, or Scary, I don't know how to say her last name, Lynette. But thank you, Lynette, for being so supportive of us. We really appreciate
Prescott.
it. Enjoy it up there in the mountains, you silly woman. And also, guys, I want to give you guys a little update on something. It has nothing to do with what we talked about, but it's the culture of the place.
Yeah.
We talked about Carlton Dotson a few weeks ago. Go back and check that out, how many huge corpses are found in Texas, that episode. And it was a murderer in Texas, and it turned out that it went a lot deeper than the murder. The coach got fired. It was a big scandal, and all this stuff. It was deep. We got into it in the episode. Well, Baylor's back in the news again.
They can't stop.
Whole athletic department stripped to the bone.
Leveled.
Sex scandals, whorehouses, assaults. It's a fucking disaster.
So we're going to get into that one. I can't wait.
Eventually, not today. That's not today.
No.
Eventually, we'll get into that down the road.
It just happened. We don't know shit
yet. It
yet.
just happened. So, with that, we just want to give you an update on Baylor still fucking up. And if you want to hear about the culture of Baylor a little bit, you can hear the Carlton Dotson episode.
Wacko, Waco, Texas.
And you also get to hear about a guy who killed his teammate and tried to bury him in the desert and everything else. So that's wacky. But definitely, let's get started here. Our guy today, oh my goodness here. This is a fun one. This is a crazy one because culturally, this is, say the word culture again, but this is a wacky episode. That's why I had it covered, Jimmie.
I can't fucking wait for this.
This
is going to be
Payne,
great,
guys. Tom Payne.
Tom Payne.
Jimmie's laughing because it's Thomas Robert Payne Jr. Of course. Guys, stop naming your fucking
What
kids
the
after
fuck?
You. Stop it.
How does it keep happening?
This guy had no indication that this would happen. Because his father, his family, it's not their fault.
No, rock solid.
A bunch of other children that turned out wonderfully. This is a top-notch family. This guy.
But the one that fucks
jackass.
up is the one he named Junior.
Of course. It's every time. That's what's going to get you. So you stop naming your kids after yourselves, guys. But this is a crazy case.
Yeah.
And he didn't murder anybody, but it's worse.
Yeah.
And he's just an awful person. And the way he could have not been an awful person, this guy could have been an icon.
Could have been somebody.
Not a sports icon even, too, but like a culture. He could have been like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Yeah,
type.
he could have mattered for generations to come.
He could have mattered,
Right.
once again, culturally.
Right.
And instead, he chose to be a complete and total waste of any culture or society that was in front of him. He's born Thomas Robert Payne Jr., born November 19th, 1950, born in California.
Yeah.
The family moves to Kentucky when he's a child. Now, where he was born, he was the longest baby ever born in the hospital he was in.
How about that?
Because he's huge.
Yeah.
This guy grows up to be 7
Born to
foot.
play basketball.
Yeah, 7'2" we're talking. He's a gigantic human being. This will come up later too, his height and his case and everything else.
Born 3'6".
Born, yeah, he was, yeah, by his poor mother. Good Lord. But it made a lot of sense.
It's still coming out!
Well, he's the oldest of 9 children, but after him, they were probably flying out. Like, it's a water slide.
Right.
They're shooting out of there, with a bathing suit and some swimmies on, just firing right out. No problem after this. His father was a master sergeant in the U.S. Army.
Oh, wow.
And he's a no
Discipline,
shit,
no fucking around man.
no messing around,
Yeah.
no fucking around. I mean, he's got 9 kids, so
Yeah.
that shit is kept in line, or else the house is going to be on fire
Right.
constantly. So, mother also smart. His mother has a biology degree, so she's a real smart lady.
Biology degree, so she knows how babies are born, and
Yeah.
she still manages to have fucking 9
of them.
Slow down, lady.
From what I understand, too, they're not like overly religious or anything
Right.
like that. They just like pumping kids
Jesus.
out. This guy got home from the Army, and
Yeah.
he's like, I want to get fucking. That's all there is to it.
I've been yelling at people
Let's
all
go.
day.
Yeah.
And I've had a raging boner. I've got to bury it in
Open
something.
up the water slide, honey, because it's coming through.
Yeah.
So,
unfold that slip and slide. Let's go.
yeah, his other siblings, 8 siblings other than him, obviously, 9 kids. They have a total of 14 degrees.
Wow.
There's lawyers, there are doctors, ministers.
Successful family.
Very successful people. Basically, a discipline stressed in the household, as you might imagine.
Oh, I imagine.
And an Army
That man
master
yells.
sergeant's
Yeah.
house.
That man will fuck you up.
Especially, too, 1950. So we're talking a 50s black Army master
Holy
sergeant.
shit.
He has taken
None.
shit
None.
from anybody. He's probably the scariest man alive.
Yeah.
He probably looked like Dave Stewart, the
Yeah.
old pitcher for the A's, just stared you down.
I'll bet he was the fucking... Did you ever see Major Payne?
Yeah, that's probably
That's probably... And that's his goddamn name.
it's Payne.
His
Tom
name
Payne.
is Payne.
And oh my goodness, this is the weird thing too. I don't get this. He didn't start playing basketball until he's a sophomore in high school. What the fuck? He's enormous, but I
Yeah.
guess he was very lanky, but still good guy.
How do you not just accidentally walk through the
Yeah.
schoolyard and be like, I can touch that
I could
rim.
just tip it in from it. This is easy.
Yeah.
Shit. He goes to Shawnee High School in Louisville, Kentucky. He becomes dominant immediately
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
he's enormous
Yeah,
and he's really athletic.
Nobody's
too.
that tall.
Yeah, he's super athletic. He's recruited by UCLA also because if they were the dominant force at that point.
Gotcha.
UCLA with John Wooden. This is right after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor
Gotcha.
left. So, I mean, they were the dominant
And they
national
needed somebody
title
big.
force. Yes, I mean, they're looking to see this guy. He's no joke. In 1968, Sports Illustrated did a piece on him. He was 7'1", 215 pounds at that point.
Wowza.
He just told him that he loved to block shots. That
Yeah.
was his thing. But he'd like to do more than that because in high school, his senior year, he had, this is insane. These are Wilt Chamberlain numbers. This is ridiculous. He averaged 25 points and 29 rebounds per game in his senior year.
He's averaging more boards than points, and he's scoring 25 points.
Insane.
That's amazing.
That's just dominating the whole game. That's just he was giving the ball to teammates just to be generous, just to be a nice guy. Like I could put it back myself, but you take a shot.
I could easily put the 50 on this
You
this
take
night,
a shot.
but it's your turn.
My arms are getting
He's so
tired from
generous.
raising them so much. It's just a lot. But also he's recruited by University of Kentucky, which is an enormous deal. Because he's from Kentucky, and that's the big deal. But University of Kentucky and their history we have to know a little bit about.
Okay.
They were a college powerhouse. Adolph Rupp was their head coach. College powerhouse through the 50s when things weren't integrated yet. When there was a bunch of white guys
When it was
playing.
all white dudes.
Yeah.
The white Wildcats.
Starting in 1960, every team that won since then had an integrated team.
So they're starting to catch on.
Once they got black guys in, it was a different story.
They're like, shit, we can't win anymore.
And I mean, in 1967 they started kind of under the radar recruiting top Kentucky high school players, guys like Wes Unseld and stuff that. But they didn't go there because they were all a little afraid of the whole thing.
Sure.
And it was weird because no black guy ever played
Kentucky.
there. It's Kentucky.
Right.
They had integrated, like, there was like a track and field guy or something, but nobody gave a shit. Nobody watches fucking track and field.
No.
Basketball's what they gave a shit about. And at this point, the times had passed them by. I mean, they were still a good team, but they weren't winning national championships anymore with a bunch of white guys. When you got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the middle. I'm sorry. You're not going to beat him.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not happening. So, yeah, they were...
Even if you've got Wes Unseld, it's not happening.
It's not. It's rough. So
wasn't he a tubby fuck?
No.
I imagine when he played basketball, he was probably
right. Later with the Bullets, he was. Yeah, I think he was a little.
And the Nuggets too. I think he coached them too.
So anyway, he ends up declaring he's going to Kentucky June 9th, 1969.
What?
So he is the Jackie Robinson of Kentucky.
All right.
And this is a big, huge deal. I can't overemphasize
7'2" deal. This is what this is.
What a big deal this is. People there do not like this.
I'm sure.
At all.
Yeah.
This is not.
It's Kentucky.
He is there
in the 60s.
He's burned in effigy on campus.
Holy shit.
They actually burn how nuts is that? He's a kid.
How do you walk past that at 18 years old and just keep going?
And they're hurling slurs at him, and that's at home. When they go
to home games.
This is at home games. This isn't when he goes
awesome.
to Mississippi or Alabama when they're giving him death threats and they're spitting on him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is no shit here. He gets there anyway. He doesn't do well on the testing for the entry, so he has to sit out the 1970 season. He plays for an AAU team called Jerry's Restaurant.
Awesome.
Which sounds like a little league
That's
team.
awesome.
Like when you're sponsored by like the Elks Lodge and the local Toyota
it's like
dealership.
the Bad News Bears.
Yeah, so exactly. So he plays there in 1970. It's an AAU team though.
Jerry's Restaurant.
Jerry's Restaurant.
It's not even like
it's
not even like Denny's. It's some fucking Podunk Town Jerry's.
Who the hell knows what it is, too? It's outside of Louisville. He actually goes to school in Kentucky. His parents pay his way through his freshman year.
Yeah.
They wait for a scholarship, which nice of them to do. Nice to have parents that'll do that.
Yeah.
They're good parents,
right.
like we said. Then he meets the academic requirements while he's doing that. Gets everything up to snuff, ready for the 71 season. Rough season for for everything. I mean, the racial slurs, threats, just... It wasn't easy. His little brother, Daryl, was just talking about they go to the games and they were like, pretty much the only black people there.
Yeah.
And everybody at the home games with him and his dad are shouting these racial slurs. And his dad's like in the Army. And
that man doesn't fuck around.
Yeah. And Tom Payne, too, he said he grew up on Army bases, which are completely integrated. He said he didn't grow up with that.
No.
So he didn't
this is
realize.
foreign to him.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
it's in California.
No, this is in Kentucky.
No, where he grew up was in California,
Yeah, he grew up
right?
mostly in Kentucky, though.
Oh, did he?
He was only born in California.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
I mean, he gets it, but it was on Army bases. So, I mean, he goes to
that's a good
school
point,
with Army kids who are used to...
They're used to seeing...
That's it. Their next-door neighbor's a black guy. They don't give a shit.
It's no big deal, right.
So, he just didn't get it. His teammate here at Kentucky, a guy named Jim Andrews, who comes in... We'll talk about him later, too, because this guy's a trooper. He's a teammate for life, this fucking guy, no matter what you do. He said, quote, "It was very tough. The racial slurs and other cursing and threats that were made, he couldn't help but hear these things."
Yeah.
Which I could imagine.
Well, it's mostly farm people in Kentucky that are pissed that they don't have their free labor anymore.
Yeah, it's
and they're going to take it out on the guy that's free, that's dunking on everybody.
I mean, they should at least, they're living, but I mean, a lot of people live vicariously through these colleges. They should, who cares?
You should just be happy that this man's
playing for you.
He's helping you win, goddammit.
He's happy he's not playing for another team that you have to yell at him
He's not coming in with fucking Louisville or whatever and dunking all over you.
Exactly.
He's dunking on them.
It's perfect.
For you.
Yeah, you should be happy.
Lighten up your scoreboard.
Be happy, goddammit.
Stop being dicks.
So, I mean, he had a temper on the court. Had some incidents, which
I think I would too.
And you know what too? This too. I mean, you don't know what they're saying to each other, talking shit down there. You know these guys are trying to egg him on. I'm sure. Also,
some fucking white bread power forward from Alabama coming to your house and and listening to what his father said while he was growing up, and now he's got a black guy that he gets to push around all game.
And in this story, it's kind of like this. Like you can give him the benefit of the doubt through 80%.
Right now, I'm totally on his side.
You're on his side,
right.
and even when things go askew, there's a lane to be on his side because you're going, we'll get to this. But at 80% of the story, and then he just, it's very Making a Murderer. Like through watching the documentary, you're like, they fucking got it.
They are bullying this motherfucker. Yeah.
Then you hear other shit and you're like, wait a second, no, everybody's a scumbag.
You don't get to,
like we've discussed before. No, he killed her.
You don't get to break the law because you were bullied.
So I mean, there's a game against Tennessee where he going up for a rebound, he flips a guy over, a guy named Jim Woodall, flips him over, gets called for a flagrant. In the next game against Tennessee down the road in the season, the rematch, he flagrantly fouls the same guy again, Woodall, and gets tossed from the game because, and like I said, who knows if what Woodall's elbowing him,
Woodall's
and
mouth
fucking
must
whatever.
have been out of control.
Yeah, I'm sure Woodall deserved
Absolutely.
it probably. Also ejected in another game for arguing with a ref's call. He's just generally an angry kid right now, and it's got to be hard for him. So I'm kind of on his side. But on the court, 17 points a game, 10 rebounds.
Solid.
Fine.
That's solid.
For basically, he's a sophomore, but he's a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean,
First
he's a
season.
freshman.
Yeah.
That's a great.
That's
job.
pretty good.
Great job. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So things are going well for Thomas Payne here.
Yeah.
Tom Payne. And then the summer comes.
Uh-oh.
Much like Eddie Johnson. Much like Eddie
Goddamn,
Johnson, the
4th of
season
July
would go
kicks
well.
it all off.
The summer would come.
Yeah.
And, so the summer comes. Now, it comes out that Payne is now missing. So he didn't do his job well in school this year at Kentucky. He's missing some academic hours. Probably not going to be eligible to play next year.
Oh no,
is what it comes out as. So, first of all, the university's pissed off at him because now he's talking about leaving because the NBA this year, for the first time and only time ever, really does this. They hold in September 10th, 1971. They hold what's called a hardship draft. And it's
ineligibles are able to get drafted.
Underclassmen that want to join.
Oh, wow.
So they can come out. So 13 of these guys do this at the time. Tom Payne included because he wants to get paid.
Yeah.
He's also married, has a young daughter at this point.
Jesus Christ.
So he's thinking,
he put himself into a situation that he needs money.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the credit hours to play next year.
So
the only option he's got.
From heaven, this hardship
this
draft.
is amazing.
That's what I mean. This guy had every opportunity in the world.
Yeah.
He's the Jackie Robinson of this, and he played it well. He flipped the guy over or whatever, but he didn't kill anybody at this university. He represented himself well and everything else, and now he's going to join the NBA.
I feel like his dad had a talk with like whoever the commissioner of the NBA was at that time was like, look, I will fuck you up if you don't create some hardship or something.
I think it was the opposite. I think when he got drafted, his dad went to him and he said, if you need to give my boy a whooping, you give him a whooping, goddammit, because I ain't going to be around to do it. So you do it. I don't care. But when someone need a whooping, it need to be delivered.
It need to be done.
Yeah. So he's a youngster now.
Make him spit shine your boots or something.
And basically, if a team made a pick in the supplemental that year, then they would give up the 72 pick representative to it. So he's pick number 2 in this draft.
Good for him.
Only 5 guys get drafted. Number 1 is a guy named Nate Williams, who had a pretty decent 10-year career in the NBA, averaged 12 points a game. Playing
outside
the ABA
of that, anybody else come out of it?
No, it was a bunch of guys that were
of scrubs that probably deserved a hardship.
But he gets paid for it. He gets an $800,000 contract.
Wow.
Tom Payne. So
in
he's
1972?
1972. He's paid.
That's pretty impressive.
That's paid. This is 71 he gets drafted. So I mean, he's fucking paid.
Yeah.
He does well. He's happy. That's why
his baby and his wife are
paid.
set.
He has some troubles though here.
Oh no.
He has some big time troubles. First up, you can tell. I don't know if he would have been eligible anyway because of this
precursor.
He gets a speeding ticket in his brand new Cadillac. This is before the draft. This is in the summer. Speeding ticket, and the car is registered to a Pennsylvania car dealer.
Oh boy.
What the fuck would a University of Kentucky freshman basketball player have a? Why would he have a Cadillac that's registered to a completely different state auto dealer nowhere near them? That's insane. So they figure it out, basically. Apparently, this was a big common thing back then. We've all know about recruiting violations and everything. It was
boosters,
a little more flagrant back then. Apparently, teams in the NBA and ABA were both courting him, and rumor has it the Cadillac was from the Pittsburgh Condors of the ABA. We're trying to recruit him. He goes basically.
So he gets some illegal gifts.
Yeah, so he is ready to leave for Atlanta.
Did they end up letting him keep the car?
It's his car. I mean, at that point he leaves college. So I mean,
so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter. I don't know if Pittsburgh Condors yanked it back when he went to the Atlanta Hawks, maybe. But other than that, before he leaves, now also too, he's a freshman and he leaves. He's one of the first one and dones. Think about that. The
Really?
one and done that is what
Yeah, that
Kentucky
makes
is
sense,
now.
yeah.
Kentucky basketball now, they get the best talent.
Yeah.
They have to play 1 year in college
Yep.
before they can go to the NBA.
Yep.
They're aware of that.
Yep.
Coach knows that.
Yep.
They recruit them. They come in. They play their 1 year. They get the
That's
fuck
it.
out. This guy didn't happen quite on the level like that,
Right.
but same thing, though. Still a one and done. He is stopped. He's about to leave in 72 here for Atlanta. But before he can, he is stopped. He is questioned by the police for a possible assault. Basically, prosecutor Paul Richwalski said, quote, a rape victim came forward and identified him as her assailant. She recognized him from a picture in the paper.
From his fucking arrest in the
As
Cadillac?
No, just from a basketball
Oh,
game.
they're just saying, this guy's great. And she's like, he ain't that fucking great.
Now, when she had originally gone to the police, she told the police that he was a giant guy over 7 feet tall. The police thought she was full of shit. The police thought she was just,
They drew like the
silly broad over
Right.
here thinks the guy's 7 feet tall, 6'4".
Right.
So they write 6'4". And so now that rapist is 6'4".
They really did this.
They really actually did this.
Unbelievable.
So they write on the report 6'4".
Like True Detective, they've got like the spaghetti monster.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's
And they can't
insanity.
find the spaghetti monster that's 6'4".
He's 6'4". So so they question him because then she sees his picture.
Yeah.
And so they go, okay, and they go question him, but they go, well, you're 7'1". The report says you need to be 6'4".
Right.
So
Can you squat for us?
have a good time in Atlanta.
All right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
they send him
Enjoy
on
yourself.
his way. So he goes to Atlanta. But this does not go away.
Good.
Keep this in the back of your mind,
Yeah.
folks. And it's very interesting.
She
here.
won't shut up, and I like her for it.
She won't shut up, and for a minute you're going to think otherwise, though. But it's odd. Okay, so he goes to Atlanta. Let's brush that under the rug for a second.
Yep.
Has a complete nothing rookie year. He gets 4.1 points per game, 2.4 rebounds. Does nothing on the
Holy
floor.
shit.
But I mean, he's a skinny kid. He's 20 years old at this point.
Yeah.
To be expected, basically. But
He's Greg
still,
Ostertag.
He's Greg Ostertag. It's things start to go a little off here. Now his father dies during the season. Not good.
no.
Now his father. You'll notice this in sports a lot
Yeah.
when the figure.
Their
that's-
patriarch.
When their patriarch goes,
Yeah.
that's when they feel that there's
The
no
house
more
of cards,
discipline.
right.
Mike Tyson when Costamato
Yeah.
died. Tiger Woods when his dad died.
Yeah.
Started fucking Hooters waitresses all over the place. Didn't give a shit about his legacy
Porn stars,
anymore.
too. Jesus.
He didn't care.
No.
Whatever fell in front of
Yeah,
him.
whatever
he was
vagina
like a
with
spider.
a- yeah.
Whatever flew into his web, he was like, I guess
Like
I'll
a
hump that for a
spider.
while. He doesn't care. Yeah, he said things were different there, basically, in Atlanta. He said, quote, things were going on that I'd never seen when he got to Atlanta. As
Oh,
far
I'm
as
sure.
partying, as far as things
Well,
like
that's where
this.
what's his fuck was at too. Fast
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson was in Atlanta too.
Absolutely, and things come to a head on May 24th, 1972. And this is from an article I found in the Milwaukee Sentinel from 1972 because I'm out of my fucking mind.
I love it.
This is an article of him being held over for trial. He's arrested for rape of a 22-year-old school teacher.
Oh, no.
Not good. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be raping anybody, especially not a 22-year-old school teacher in
No.
1970. A white girl too, which is not good in the South.
No.
It's a bad thing for his own.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And now we have also a clear indicator that he has a problem with sex.
he's got a little sex problem.
Yeah.
And
We have that indicator,
Yeah.
but the cops don't know that because
don't
they
know.
haven't caught the spaghetti monster yet.
Exactly. So we're getting to this. This woman testifies at a hearing for an hour and a half, giving details
Yeah.
of the encounter. She said she could identify him because he was black, didn't have an afro, and was clean shaven. This is what the defense keeps harping on. So it sounds like shady. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Also, too, during her testimony, two men interrupt her testimony in the court, holding up signs that say "Free Tom Payne. Africans must unite to free Tom Payne."
Oh, my God.
This is a white girl.
Yeah.
This is a white girl. So they're really harping on it, and it sounds interesting too because his lawyer, Leroy Johnson, called her, quote, a confused school teacher whose testimony was beyond belief. First of all, it's amazing in the 70s a rape victim, you could just be like, she's a confused whack job. Like,
That's
never mind.
incredible.
Yeah, it gets worse. He also said, quote, the most obvious thing about this man is that he is tall, and no reasonable person could ever forget it. But this confused school teacher never mentioned that he was tall. She did mention that he was tall.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in the report.
Right.
The original cop said, yeah, she did say he was a giant, but we thought she was out of her fucking mind. Because apparently when you're a woman in 1971, 72, and you get raped, everyone just thinks you're loony. They just go, this crazy broad in her rape. What is wrong with these goddamn people? Nobody just, they don't even take that he's huge as a thing. They go, yeah, he's a foot shorter than he says.
They still don't, I mean...
It's insane, man.
Why... Whatever, it's beside the point. But
Yeah.
rape still is not taken very seriously, and that boggles my fucking mind.
It's great. And now this woman here, he says that this supposedly happened allegedly, or not allegedly in the end, but it happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, this is a lame-ass excuse, too. He says he was playing tennis with a friend until 1 a.m.
What?
And then when the time of the rape, he was home with his wife. So he doesn't know anything about it. He's home with his wife. He's tennis elbow. He's got some ice on it.
Some ice on my
He's having a nice night. He doesn't know what the hell's going on here. And that occurred on May 18th, 72 is the alleged incident. So this is like less than a week later this is going on. Johnson said, this is his attorney, Leroy Johnson, said that the police told her where he'd be in the lineup. And and he's saying that this is like, this is a racist conspiracy,
right.
and a lot of it sounds like it at this point, because you're like, that's possible.
It's possible.
This is all possible.
Yeah.
But also, his fingerprints were found in her car.
That's not possible.
He's not supposed to know her.
That's not impossible. Right.
Yeah, and his lawyer Johnson, his excuse for this isn't the police planted the finger or some insanity or it's bullshit. His excuse was, well, there's no way to know when those prints were there. They could have been from 2 months ago. Did he rape her 2 months ago? He's supposed to not know this person. What the fuck's he doing?
He has no idea who
they're
she
in
is.
the back seat of his car,
bed.
too. In the back seat of her car.
There's no way to get back there unless you are back there for a reason.
Exactly. So it's not looking good at this point. And also he said, lawyer Johnson, quote, "We submit that this defendant wasn't even there. If it had been this defendant, she would have said she was raped by a tall black man."
Wow.
How dumb is this crazy, wacky broad? Doesn't even say the right things.
That's where they're going to scrutinize, is that she doesn't say that he's tall.
It's fucking nuts.
But she did say it.
No, she did say it in the beginning, and even the way he did it too. It even sounds like it. Listen to this. Okay, she says he attacked her outside of her apartment. Mm-hmm. Keep this MO in mind, guys, because it's a build on it. Okay, attacked her outside of her apartment, threw a dish towel. Remember the dish towel, guys, because this is important. Over her head, threatened to kill her and forced her into the backseat of her car. And he, started on her back there, but didn't rape her back there. Dragged her out of the car to a walkway and raped her, as a guy who is 7'2" would have to do in the backseat of a car. Yeah. I'm 6'4", and I've been tall for a long time. Yeah. I've never raped anybody in a car, but in high school, I've been in the backseat of a car and been, whatever.
With a chance of doing something.
I'm 6'4" and it isn't happening back there for me. It's like,
you
can't.
have all the permission in the world to invade someone's vagina in the rear seat of this car.
Yeah,
and it's
can't
logistically not possible.
It's hard. My legs are wrapped around.
I'm 5'8". I've had sex in a car exactly once, and it was in the front seat because we couldn't do it in the back seat.
So this guy makes sense that he would have to drag her out.
The blowjob is the only thing that's possible in a car.
Yeah, he is convicted of this.
Wow.
Okay, he's convicted. He's sentenced to 2 years for this. You might hear Frankie the crime dog in the background. Sorry there, Frankie the crime and sports dog barking in the background.
She does not like Thomas Payne.
She hates Thomas Payne.
She's super white, and I feel like she's just racist.
She's racist, yeah. She's very racist. Like all the people in the story up to this point
she's
are
from
very
Kentucky.
racist. And at this point, I'm thinking maybe they are racist. The fingerprint thing is rough, but you never know.
It's tough to get around.
So, who knows, though? I mean, at this point, there are people giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Not me.
Right.
Not crime and sports.
His lawyers are fighting like hell.
But his lawyers are fighting. There's people in public, too, that are going, this is racism and blah, blah, blah.
There's people speaking up in courtrooms, too.
Yeah, it's happening all over the place. So until September 27th, 1972, was when this was coming down and the sentencing was coming up. And at trial, he is charged. This is in 72. He's got three rape charge type things on his deal here. Somehow he's allowed to make an unsworn statement after the both sides have rested and before deliberations. Now they let OJ do this too. Remember that? They let OJ make this unsworn statement.
They can say whatever he wants.
No cross-examination.
Right.
No, you just get up there and make a statement. So this is insane. He gets up there and he says, quote, in their own words, in their own asshole words, here they are here, quote, I'm innocent. I'm going to remain innocent no matter what you decide here today. I don't have any knowledge of these things, so I can't explain these things. I just can't go on. And then he left the booth.
He just wants to go up there to say, I didn't do it.
He's too overwhelmed,
though.
I can't go on. This is too much on me. You know what I mean? Jury began deliberations. He's convicted. So he's going away 2 years. And
he's played one season. Has he even played one season in the NBA? He did play one season, right?
Yes, one season.
One season in the NBA. And now he's already going to prison for 2 years.
Yes. And while he's in prison, guess what? More trouble. Apparently, he was going in the spring of 72. He was going on a little spurt here. He was going on a little fucking rampage because apparently it was told that on March 25th, 1972, which is 2 months before the school teacher incident, he is now convicted of rape in Marietta, Georgia.
Jesus
So
Christ.
we're going there now. Rape and aggravated sodomy. So he's upping the ante now. Yeah. It's not enough that he's raping people, this piece of shit.
He's got to put it in their asshole, too.
Oh, my goodness. So this is a 42-year-old waitress this time. He doesn't even have a type.
No.
He's just like, I need a person to grab
It's just
and be a
a
piece
sick
of shit
gazelle.
with.
That's the one he wants.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, this guy. So 42-year-old waitress follows her home, pulls her from her car, and rapes her in her backyard.
Because he can't fit in her
Because
car.
he can't fit. He figured out already. Well, this was actually first, so I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
He couldn't fit through the door.
He couldn't fit through the door. She had a really tiny. She had like a Toyota from
Georgia.
like 1972,
Right.
a little real tiny one. He's sentenced to 10 years for rape for that.
Oh shit!
And an additional 5 for sodomy, but they're served concurrent. So
Gotcha.
he's getting
10 anyway.
He's getting 10 anyway for this. So now he's double convicted. Yeah, he's looking bad.
Is the 2 years concurrent with the 10 also?
I think so, yes.
All right.
So they're adding that, tacking that on here. They're the whole time, they're saying this is ridiculous. This is, this whole thing is nuts. But also, he gets convicted of another rape in April of 72.
What the fuck, Payne?
Payne, you fucking asshole. Jackie Robinson would never do this. Ever.
Absolutely not.
He would not do this. He was a nice guy. By all accounts, he was a perfect gentleman. This guy, not so great. This is an airline stewardess this time. Said a guy followed her home. It was an attempted thing here. This was not. Said a guy followed her home, attempted to get in her car, yank her out of the car. She had the door locked and just blew on the horn. She just sat on the horn.
Good for her.
Until he got scared and ran away. But smart this girl is, she got the plate number of the car that he drove away.
Nice.
Guess whose car it is?
The fucking Condors.
What do you think? It's Tom Payne's car.
Tom Payne's car.
What
You're
a
damn right.
fucking shocker there. This whole time, his family, and these are a bunch of smart people, are blaming a racist conspiracy at the University of Kentucky for this whole thing in Georgia.
There's too many women.
And especially...
Like Bill Cosby, there are too many women
they're
with the
saying,
same damn story.
Yeah, they're saying only one victim mentioned his height in their initial statements.
I don't fucking care.
That's their big defense. Like, I don't give a shit.
When you're sitting in a Toyota Tercel, you can't tell how big somebody is when they're just in your window.
And
I'm 5'8". I could lean in your window and you just be like, the guy's fucking huge.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's about to get out in Georgia here.
Yeah.
When Kentucky comes a-calling. We go back to...
Did they patch together the spaghetti monster yet?
We go back to 1971. We go back to 1971. The victim here. We go back there. This is the one that the family's really saying is a Kentucky racist conspiracy and everything else like that, which this is what I was thinking too, honestly, until you get the details of it. And then you're like, oh no, especially later on. Okay, so he's convicted in Louisville of 1 count of rape, 2 counts of detaining a female against her will.
Good.
The incident happened in the summer of 71, like we talked about here. He's sentenced to life in prison.
Oh my God.
For first-degree rape. Now, this is in 1977, and he is sentenced under 1971 sentencing guidelines.
All right.
And that's going to come up huge later. So we got to remember that. He's sentenced under there and also sentenced to 10 years for the detention, detaining a female charge. So he's charged for all this. He's eligible for parole at some point, though. That's the thing. This isn't a, throw away the key life. It's a parole life.
Right.
But it's still life. And this is so if you get busted while you're on parole,
You're fucked.
They can really
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
You don't have another 2
Also,
years.
too, if you act up in prison, when you're up for parole, if you haven't been fixed
Yeah.
or however they deem to
Yeah.
be rehabilitated, you don't get out.
Yeah.
Look at
No, it's true.
look at Manson.
It's
you know
true.
what I mean? Manson keeps getting up for parole, and they're like, "You, sir, are fucking insane." So if you
Yeah.
tattoo a swastika on your forehead,
You're not getting
never
out.
getting out.
Yeah, you're not
It's
getting
over.
out. I'm sorry.
You're staying in.
Once you did that,
Right.
yeah, you're in. Yeah. But I mean, if Manson got out, people would like dipshits would act like he was like
Yeah.
somebody. Like
Yeah.
this guy, it's not even
no,
about
no,
that.
no.
It's just about we don't
Safety
need
of society.
We don't need more people getting raped. Basically,
Right.
It's just let's keep all the rape
We need
bottled up. In
we need
one
the
place.
waitresses and stewardess and
school teachers to not get
to
raped.
be safe.
Yes, exactly.
And they're not safe with Tom Payne on the street.
No one is safe at this point. So yeah, he goes sentenced to life in prison. Now he's in prison at this point. He tells this whole thing is crazy. He's got this quote is fucking wonderful.
I can't wait.
This isn't a great in their own words because it's completely clueless. He's still in total denial for everything. This is amazing. Okay. Also, too, before I get into that,
Yeah.
in Georgia, he served 5 years for those rapes. 2.5 of those years were spent in solitary confinement
Oh, my
because
God.
of his role in a prison riot.
Jesus
Well, he's like the giant guy in the stuff. By the way, when he was in prison, he just jacked himself up.
Really?
He's 300 pounds of muscle
Oh,
in
my
prison.
God.
So we're going to get into that in a second. But in their own words here,
we go.
this is a long in their own words. There is so much quotes from this, so many quotes from this guy. We could have done 3 episodes of just the readings of Tom Payne. I swear to God. There's so many
Is he
articles.
prophesizing while he rapes?
Interviews. He's been in prison forever, so
Yeah.
he just talks and
He's got a
talks
lot
and
to
talks
say.
and
Yeah.
talks. It was
Absolutely.
45 years of statements we
Yeah.
have from this guy about raping and his general whatever. So here's his quote in their own words. This is awful. Okay. Quote, "I'm well aware of what rape is. It's a very degrading type act. Heinous. I had went out and partied. I'm not denying that, and fooled around and so forth, but I think that was part of the stage I was going through at that time. So I don't think I'm the only one doing this, but I couldn't have possibly did those charges. Even if I did say 2 or 3 of them, I couldn't possibly do no 20 or 30 charges."
What the fuck?
That's his quote. That's
What
his quote.
the fuck?
He's like, "Look, I was out partying.
Maybe 2 or 3.
I didn't do
Yeah.
that kind of
No.
shit. I might have raped a couple
Right.
of people
My
here
dick
or there.
may got hard
Not
while I was partying.
20 or 30
Right.
times. Shit, I don't know."
What the fuck?
That's his fucking response to this, which is insane. So I
One
mean,
rape, 50 rapes. Who gives a shit?
He's shattered lives at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's three women that have had his run in with him.
Yeah.
A 4th that escaped narrowly from
Thank
his
God.
clutches. You know what's sad too? This is 1971.
Yeah.
People don't only half the sex crimes get reported nowadays.
Right.
When people
Back then, maybe a 10th.
Yeah. Maybe when
Maybe.
people actually now they're like, "Hey, who did that to you?
Right.
Let's fuck the let's
find
let's
them."
put them
Yeah.
behind bars." Back then, it wasn't like that. As we saw, it was like, "This crazy broad."
Right.
I don't blame
It's a
people for not
conspiracy.
coming forward back then because you were treated like a piece of shit, and that was in the newspaper.
And then you've got to go through the public scrutiny
Yeah.
of strangers judging you. But not just that. Now you have charged a man and accused a man of raping you.
especially a famous man,
A 7-foot something
who's
famous man.
and he might be scary to you,
Right.
everything else. So
God knows what could be happening.
how
to
many
them.
are out there. That's what I
Oh.
mean. If there's 3 that came forward, there's probably at least 30 that haven't. You know, so
Absolutely.
I mean, this is insane. He's shattered countless lives.
Yeah.
He had the potential to be Jackie Robinson. You know, was in the NBA, had a bunch of money, had a nice family, had
Yeah.
a wife, a daughter, tennis to play in the middle of the
Sure.
night. Who doesn't want to do that? I mean, I feel bad for all of these people, Jimmy, but not as bad as I feel for these other Tom Paynes, like Tom Payne Jr., field service manager at
He's a
Ameritox.
junior.
At Ameritox in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a medical services company.
That junior figured it out, but still people think he's a rapist.
Tom Payne Jr., social
Jesus
product developer at Oodle.me, a startup in San Francisco, California. Get online, check those guys out. Tom Payne, Dean of the College of Business at Tennessee Technical
my
University in Cookeville, Tennessee. Tom Payne, a UK prosecutor specializing in fraud, corporate, and organized crime. Tom Payne, owner of Craftsman Homes Group LLC, a construction company in
All
Portland,
spelled
Oregon.
the same.
Tom Payne, Ph.D., criminal justice consultant and expert witness in Biloxi, Mississippi. And most freakish of all, Tom Payne, the actor who's currently starring in The Walking Dead.
Oh my
and has
God.
an IMDb as long as my fucking arm. When you search for Tom
Same
Payne,
name as a serial rapist.
yeah, and he's like,
on The Walking
and
Dead.
He shares an IMDb. He's
Poor
like
guy.
Tom Payne 14 because this Tom Payne is Tom Payne 1.
Wow.
On
IMDb.
On IMDb.
And why is he Tom Payne 1?
We'll get into that
All
later
right.
when he gets out of prison. But for right now, he's in prison. Okay, in Kentucky. He gets up to 350 pounds of jacked up muscle too. He's not fat.
Yeah.
He's just working out like a madman. He's a genetic freak. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy's doing great. So he's in prison. He takes up boxing. Okay. Now there's an article in July 17th, 1981.
Thinks he's going to be the Hurricane.
Absolutely. There's an article here that I found from 81. It's talking about a match he has at the Muhammad Ali Boxing Club in Louisville while he's incarcerated. They take the boxers in, and they fight, and they cuff him and fucking yank him back up. His mother's there, his 2 sisters are there.
Yeah.
He fights a guy, he's 7'1", 350 pounds of solid muscle. He fights a guy named Alan Smith who is 6'4", 200 pounds. He's the real rapist, apparently, this guy.
Yeah.
He's 6'4". Our man Tom Payne wins by decision. Doesn't even knock the guy out.
What?
Yeah, he wins by decision. Then he's cuffed, taken away. The opponent wasn't impressed by him at all. He said he could have stopped Payne in the second round if he'd been in better shape, but he didn't work out very much for the fight.
I needed more jogging.
So yeah, he was like, I didn't have the win.
My cardio wasn't up. I skipped the fucking jumping jacks and jump rope this week.
Now, Tom Payne has some bright idea of the future as we get into here. In their own words, fucking quote, it wasn't, this is about the match, quote, it wasn't good at all. There's still a lot of things I have to work on. That guy is not even in my class. I could develop my skills and play basketball again, but for myself, boxing is another avenue I want to pursue. I hope to turn pro in 6 months to 1 year. Within a 2 to 3 year span, I plan to make it all the way to the top.
He's already got it all spanned out.
Oh.
He already figured it out.
He's going to be heavyweight champ in no time.
Easy. This is no
easy.
problem. I could have raped that motherfucker if I wanted to.
He probably would have had an easier time raping him than beating him in the ring, obviously, because he could have punched him all he wanted to. And he doesn't do it, so he's boxing like crazy. He becomes a paralegal in prison.
Wow.
I guess he's bored with that, so he also becomes a welder in prison.
Jesus.
He's getting trades.
He's figuring it out, yeah.
This whole time,
he can join a union here pretty soon.
Absolutely. He converts to Islam at the end of his stint here.
That's when it goes off the rails. That's when I
Once
stop
again,
rooting for a guy.
finds religion.
Yeah.
Which is, don't find religion. Number one, that's like rule number 3 or 4 in our crime and sports thing. Look at all of these guys.
Yeah.
Once they find religion, they will be raping or killing within a
They're
year.
crazy.
That's at the end of their path. That's just their mind is unraveling.
That's them trying to fix their fucking wrongs.
They're falling down a cliff, grabbing for that little branch, like a cartoon character.
And it happens to be made of Bible pages.
And it's made of Bible pages, and they eventually break, and you fall down and on top of someone else, usually.
And you're covered in Bible verses.
And you're just, then they fall. Psalms rain down upon you like snowflakes. So finally here, he is up for parole, and he has his friend helping him the whole time, a woman named Jan R. Waddell. She's a lawyer from Louisville that went to high school at Shawnee with him.
All right.
She maintains his innocence.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say she's an asshole.
She is maintaining his innocence. She says, quote, whatever people think about Tom Payne in the future, guilt or innocent, he deserves to be exonerated by the courts. He's been through enough that the judicial system owes him this.
I don't believe her.
Owes him this? Are you out of your fucking mind?
I'm completely on the opposite side, my dear.
He is just, he's got a wheelbarrow full of rape.
Yeah.
We don't owe him shit.
Nothing.
He's a jackass. So,
what we owe him, he's gotten paralegal training.
Yeah.
He's gotten welding training.
And boxing gloves.
He's got boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Fuck gloves.
There
He's
you
got
go.
a gym.
He's got a gym to work out. He got to 350
and it's
pounds
all
based on a gym.
state fucking funded. That's what we owe him.
So
enjoy, sir.
He's released.
Fuck.
He's paroled on November 4th, 1983. His mother, his brother, 3 of his sisters, and his minister are all there to pick him up.
Yeah.
They have a big prayer in the parking lot. It's a big thing. You know, they're all happy. It's 6 years of a life sentence he got off on, so And he had a lot of support from the Muslim community also when
Yeah.
he turned to Islam. They had a big petition.
All right.
And apparently that lawyer was pretty good, too. She was
Sounds
able to.
like it.
And also, too, like I said, there was a lot. They were playing on a lot of the shadiness of the whole thing. And, hey, these cops were, you know, up to something and
It's
all
in the
that.
60s,
which I believe,
70s,
too.
right.
You know,
Well, yeah.
I mean... Who's to,
true. You're right.
I was leaning toward, you know, who knows? Who knows if he throws a dish towel around someone's... I don't fucking know what he does.
And you get ridiculed that much in college, and you do well, and you're succeeding, and then you get into a path where you get drafted in the NBA, and you're making $800,000 a year.
Not a year.
Not a year,
total,
but you get
still,
an $800,000
it's a lot of
contract.
money in
There are
1972.
people back in Kentucky that resent the fuck out of that, and most of them were calling him the N-word every fucking day.
Yeah, and worse.
Yeah.
And burning him in
Burning
effigy,
him
for
in
Christ's
effigy
sake. They're
in the
burning
fucking
him.
quad.
Like he's like a foreign president.
Right.
They're burning the goddamn guy. It's insane.
So you can see that there is absolutely opportunity for somebody to be framing him for something. And if he gets away with one, they're going to go again at him.
Yeah.
Frame for another one.
That's what he's saying. And,
Right.
And, you're
And
going,
keep going until it
maybe,
makes it look like he's a serial
And for
rapist.
a minute, it looks like, you know, he gets out. I mean, we'll see here. Look at this. He gets out. He's 33 years old in 1983, in great shape, as we described. He's
33,
jacked.
he's got his whole life ahead of him.
He's jacked. He plays for the Louisville Catbirds. Louisville Catbirds, which is a CBA, which is who picked up Jason Williams in 10 years after his prime and all that shit. It's that Louisville Catbirds. This is hilarious, by the way. Let's do another in their own words for a second here. Let's do a little in their own words here. This is what he says when he gets out of prison here.
All right.
And he's trying to say this is a redemptive thing. He's trying to say, look, man, I didn't do right. You know what I mean? So, actually, we're going to get to this one later. Never mind. Scratch that shit. Let's get to this first. This is better. Okay. So he plays for the Catbirds here. I love these redemption articles. Guess what? There's an article just like Eddie Johnson, just like everybody we get into, of things were bad, but boy, this guy...
He's on the right path now.
Straight and narrow.
He's going to make a comeback.
Oh God, the title of this article makes you want to strangle the person who wrote this. Article titled, quote, "A Journey of Pain." P-A-Y-N-E.
No, with a fucking play on words.
From jailbird's life to a catbird's seat.
Oh, you're an asshole,
Because he
sir.
plays for the Catbirds.
Oh, he's an asshole.
God, I hope someone murdered this person. I really do. I hope they died a horrible, horrible murder. So he's playing for the CBA at this point. He lives with his wife, Sue, his wife.
She's stuck around.
And his 13-year-old daughter.
Oh, my God.
Talk about the most understanding woman on the face of the earth.
Jesus.
He's convicted for multiple rapes over different states.
Oh, my God.
You're like,
That's
I'm going
worse.
to stick with him.
That's worse than DeSouza's ex taking the baby.
And it's way worse.
It's way because she's fearing for her life.
Yeah,
more or less.
he
This
was
lady's
gone.
just like, he didn't do it.
Yeah, he didn't do it. He's innocent.
And she's going to sleep with him after he's forcibly.
But I mean, think about it too. There's lawyers. There's prominent, just like Steve Avery.
Yeah.
There's groups and prominent legal people that are going, "Get this man is falsely
his due,
accused.
yeah.
Give him his due." So I mean, she is like caught up in that, and she
Wow.
wants to. Who wouldn't want to believe
Yeah.
that? You don't want to believe that you married and had a kid with a guy who's
And you
going
had
around
no
raping
idea.
people, and you had no idea.
Right, and you're a
you
big
thought he was out playing
dope.
tennis.
Yeah.
You have no fucking
Right.
idea. So he's. So anyway, he's living with his the 13-year-old daughter. By the way, is 6'4" at this point. Also,
Wow.
so he's making big kids.
Definitely his kid.
Also, has a 2-year-old adopted son. How the fuck are these people
adopted
allowed?
a kid while he's in prison?
How are you allowed? A 3-time rapist is allowed to adopt a 2-year-old?
What the
How
fuck?
does that happen? I don't think that would fly nowadays.
That's
anyway.
a shitty adoption system.
That's terrible. He's making $400 a week in the CBA, so a far cry from the.
$400 a week in 1983 still isn't shit.
No, but it's terrible compared to.
And they'll allow you to adopt a child with that kind of
apparently.
income? Jesus
Apparently,
Christ.
I mean, maybe his family was helping him out. They had money. It's insane.
That's
here.
like unemployment wages nowadays.
In this article, this is the quote I wanted to do here. In this article, he says, quote, in their own words, this is, and he's just trying to be so like, you know, hey, I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
Like, I got screwed, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, check it out. Okay, in their own words.
Fucked is that child system? I'm still shocked.
I adopt a kid. I got out of prison. Not 3 rapes. Yeah. Yeah. How much? $400 a week. Yeah. No, I'm piss poor.
I can totally cover it.
Yeah, I can cover it. Man, sure. Here's a kid. Here's a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Come back if you want another one next week.
You only make $400 a week, so you definitely can't afford diapers. This one's almost out of them. Take
Almost.
this one.
Yeah, just slap,
What
you know,
the
put a
fuck?
sheet around him. He'll be
Yeah.
fine. So he says, quote, I'm not bitter about being innocent and doing time. Not anymore. I went through a stage where I was bitter, where I blamed the world for all my problems. but other people have been persecuted and vindicated in the end. I want to try to be like those people I read about. Gandhi, JFK, FDR. They never took an easy way out, and I'm not taking any more easy roads.
I pray for you to have the same ending as JFK, sir. The exact same one.
Gandhi. Or FDR. Give him polio, for fuck's sake, right? Polio for Tom Payne.
Did Gandhi
polio for Tom Payne.
Did Gandhi eventually starve to death?
I sure hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
And I hope he gets that. At $400 a week, he's about to starve to death.
Wow. So he's playing, and let's get to the silver-haired, middle-aged white man of the week.
Because last week we didn't have one.
Oh, baby, do we have one this week. This is one of the silverest-haired statements I've ever heard in my life. This is the most middle-aged white man statement ever. It is GM of the Catbirds.
Yes.
In 1983, J. Bruce Miller. This is from that article. This is amazing. What a fucking idiot. He's talking about after he met with him. He says, quote, "I knew signing him was a calculated gamble, but I'm not in a position to make judgments on people," which is what all silver-haired middle-aged white men say. Then he says, quote, "I knew we'd get criticized, but if we have a parole system, he should have a chance." When Tom mentioned in the interview that FDR had to fight a bigger handicap than he did, I was impressed. He seemed to be a person who knew what he wanted from life. How dumb and silver-haired can this fucking idiot be?
And by the way, you are the coach and GM and coach, or just GM? Either way, you're
coach.
In charge of a basketball team, sir.
He signed him.
You are definitely in the business of judging people. You look at talent and go, this guy can play for us.
But that's what they all say.
That's all it is.
Every one of those coaches is like, hey, I'm not in a position to judge. They act like they're trying to help society.
Right.
Meanwhile, they just see a 7'1" fucking black guy they could benefit from.
A guy that would slap Ben Wallace all up and down the court. That's what he wants.
Yeah, I'm going to get that. And then he's like, hey, I'm just trying to do best for society. Yeah.
I'm all on the up and up here.
Ridiculous.
Trying to give bad seeds a second chance.
This whole piece is ridiculous. It's a fluff piece. He talks about his dad and, his dad passing away.
Don't
and
you
how hard
dare.
it is. His past at University of Kentucky and all that he endured with the races, which is true, but you're also a 3-time rapist, which wipes all of that out at that point.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. So that doesn't last even a whole season, the Catbirds thing. He does jack shit for them.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything on the court.
I can't believe he's blaming it all on his dad being dead.
Well, it's not that. It's just a fluff piece. It's a woe is me.
Yeah.
It's a redemption piece.
Yeah.
It's like Eddie Johnson. He did cocaine, but now I'm good now.
Yeah.
It's the I'm good now piece.
It ain't me.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
that
good
ain't
now.
Me. Right.
Cocaine. This guy didn't want cocaine,
right.
though. He wanted other things. He becomes a pro boxer at this point, lives up to his prediction there a few years ago, has 4 matches from June 84 to June 85. He goes 2-2, and they go win-loss, win-loss.
All right.
All by TKO or KO. So, they don't last long.
No.
He's a giant guy. I can't see him going 10 rounds or anything. They're probably the 3-round little preliminary exhibition.
Yeah.
That's
like
anyway.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
So, Butterbean, you're talking
Butterbean,
about.
that's it. Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow's a wrestler with flames on his head.
That's right.
He was great. He could do a cartwheel and shit. He was like 400 pounds.
Butterbean had the fucking American flag trunks.
Guy was amazing. So, here we go. He is in 85 there. He moves to L.A. Okay?
Good place to be. That's where
Now,
the hot bitches are.
Think about L.A. too. This is he fits so perfectly in L.A. because L.A. is a place, especially for a guy like this.
Yeah.
And L.A. is a great place for an ex-something.
Yeah.
I'm an ex-boxer. I'm an ex-player. I'm an ex-this. And now I'm trying to get into this and that.
Now I dress up in a dirty Elmo outfit and stand on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
He's a big, imposing, now he'd go and he'd be like, they pick him out for the big enforcer guy in a TV show or something like that.
Or stand on
go to be an actor.
Right, stand up front of the Roxy or something.
How many ex-football players?
Yeah.
This was probably what Alex Karras did, and then he got cast and shit, and he was like, hey, look
Stood
at this.
outside the Viper room while somebody choked on their own vomit in the gutter.
So he begins to take steroids when he goes to LA too. So you want to get a 7'2", or 7'1", 300-pound guy who's already jacked up,
prison fed and prison jacked
to the moon,
and throw a spike in that fucker's ass.
Who is inarguably aggressive, we'll call him so far, in every aspect.
Yeah.
So he meets Joe Jackson, who was Michael Jackson's father. he meets Joe Jackson on the street. How weird is that, right? Joe Jackson spots him,
Yeah.
and he's a physical freak. I mean, you see this guy, you're like, oh my God.
But he's drawn to powerful dads, too.
Yeah, and
that are assholes.
Exactly.
And Joe is an asshole.
And Joe's an asshole. So Joe tells him that he can help him out.
Yeah.
Tells him because Joe is also knows that he's the first black player in the history.
He's
of Kentucky.
aware of this.
So
man.
he's got goodwill because of that.
Yeah.
People know who he is. He's
Right.
not just some random college basketball player 1 year in the NBA. He's
Right.
a famous guy for that.
He's a black guy with talent, and
he's
Joe
socially-
Joe wants to whip him with a fucking extension
So
cord.
he says he can get him help. He said he can get him on TV, get him in movies.
Wow.
He gets him to be one of Michael Jackson's bodyguards.
Wow.
He goes on tour a little bit with Michael
Get out
Jackson.
of town.
Yeah, he gets a role in a movie in 1985, a movie called Stingray.
And this is why he's on IMDb.
Yes, a movie called, not only this, called Stingray with Nick Mancuso. And that's
Wow.
as far as I got because I read the first 2 lines of the description and I swear to God, I just zoned. It sounded so fucking ridiculous, stupid action. A prosecutor must help a witness who's got his head up his ass. I don't care.
It's like the fucking movie with Dennis Rodman and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, double take. Double take. Oh, yeah. So he's also on an episode of Night Court, which I loved when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I've
Richard
seen him
Mall.
act.
Really?
I've seen all the Night Courts when I was a kid.
I
It was on
probably saw him
syndication.
too. Richard Mall was fucking great.
Oh, he was great.
And who was
Selma,
the black lady?
Oh,
was her
Roz.
name? What was her name?
Winfield.
Yes.
Marsha Warfield.
Warfield.
Marsha
That's it.
Warfield.
She's fucking
Harry
great.
Anderson is
Yes.
the judge. We all know this. John Larroquette is Dan.
Fucking great show.
So he's on an episode of that.
Marky
Post is
that's
the
it.
prosecutor. He's also featured on a McDonald's commercial.
What?
As a giant smiling black guy eating a burger, I assume. I don't know what odd guy to have in a McDonald's commercial, but whatever. So yeah, he's doing all this. He's taking roids. He's doing his thing. He's going to parties too. He's a Hollywood douchebag.
He's figuring it out. Yeah.
He's a Hollywood asshole right now. He's like, I just finished up this McDonald's commercial.
Yeah.
I got
a call back for some Night Court in the morning.
I was talking to Larroquette on the set of Night Court, and he was telling me when you audition, the important thing, it's shit like that. He's one of these guys.
Thinking of leaving my wife for Marsha Warfield.
Thinking about Marsha Warfield, Selma looking good when she smoked. I like that. So he's at this point too. His siblings have paid all his legal bills for him. They're helping him out there. He's got a lot of help. A lot of people are trying to.
Joe Jackson is in his fucking
jack him
camp.
up. Yeah, he's in Hollywood, and you know what? He's in a movie. It's not a great movie, whatever. Right. He's in an episode of Night Court. He's on a commercial. That's how you start.
Yeah, you got to crawl before you walk.
After a while, you become the giant guy that they play. He could have been Michael Clark Duncan.
He could have been the dude with the fucked up eye.
In the Green Mile.
Tiny.
He could have been Tiny Lister. He could have been in Friday and all of that. He could have been in No Holds Barred fighting Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely.
He could have done it.
Yeah.
But instead... He fucks up again.
Jesus
on
Christ.
February 14th, Valentine's Day, 1986, in Hollywood, California, at the age of 35. The police are driving by an apartment building with a garage underneath there in Hollywood, and they see a 7-foot-tall black man laying on top of a woman who, guess what she has on her head?
A dish towel.
A towel.
Oh, no.
This is the point in the story when I went, fuck you, Tom Payne.
You did it, sir.
Rot forever, you
You
piece
did all
of
of
shit,
them, you
son of a bitch. Go fuck yourself.
You're caught red-handed.
Red fucking handed. You are on top of a woman.
In a garage next to a car.
And, guess what? His car was idling nearby.
Awesome.
So he didn't even run up. So, there is no doubt he couldn't even run away because his car's idling there.
Unbelievable.
Also, too, he's going to do a quickie raid. I'll just leave the car running.
Yeah.
Like,
this won't take long.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
How does he have just a dish towel just handy?
He's got his rape kit.
That's his rape kit. Yeah.
Seriously, people, these predators have rape kits, and that's his rape kit. It's a goddamn
I hope
towel.
it's like some.
What a.
I hope it's one that says like "Home Sweet Home" or shit.
Yeah, it's got flowers on it and shit. It's
got sunflowers
designs. On it. Yeah, nice, cute yellow design. Yeah. This piece of garbage, honestly, up until this point, I was thinking he might have gotten railroaded. Yeah. Honestly, because I read this story chronologically. I was going through the articles and all this information, newspaper articles, trying to piece it together.
A serial rapist typically doesn't finish up a prison stint and actually get their life rolling to a point where they're in movies and shit. Nobody does that.
So you're thinking, okay,
maybe it's all fucked up.
I had that 10%, and then I saw the word dish towel, and I said,
fuck it.
You're an asshole.
You,
Guilty
sir,
of everything.
Can fuck off.
Can Fuck off to prison, you asshole. So he's arrested on suspicion of forcible rape, obviously. He's held on $40,000 bail in lieu of $40,000 bail because also Kentucky has placed a no bail fugitive hold on him.
Oh, God.
Because he's on parole in Kentucky on a lifetime rape sentence.
Oh, my God.
So you don't want to fuck up and get caught raping a woman in California.
Red-handed.
Stupid asshole.
With a cop seeing it.
With a cop. Yeah, he was caught by the police officers. There's no... So an article comes out in May 15th of 2015. This is last year. Mm-hmm. This rape victim, the Hollywood rape victim, came forward and did an interview in her home in Santa Barbara.
I love her.
Said her whole life has been pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Not, but she said she's had trouble trusting people, trouble in relationships.
Kind of hard to park my car.
I really need a garage now, like my own.
Yeah.
Without,
I shut the garage door before I get out of this goddamn thing.
I could die from carbon monoxide poisoning. It's better than having a dish towel on me. This poor woman. So she says that she pulled into the garage and Payne threw a towel on her head, started to choke her. She was like kind of out of it. She didn't come to till the cops were pulling him off of her.
Wow.
Apparently the cops had to pull it.
Maybe
she
saved
didn't notice
her life.
him. Yeah, who knows? It could have escalated to that. He was choking her.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could have been choking her. He might have said, "I'm not going to
I'm not going to jail
out
for
again.
this." Yeah,
I'm not getting fingered again for this shit." So yeah, he ends up.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's goes to prison in California now.
Good.
He receives a lot of therapy while he's in prison.
Oh, boy.
And so now he's got a lot of therapy talk going on, basically, which has annoyed me. He says about his original stints in Georgia and Kentucky, quote, in their own words, he says, quote, "Really, I didn't ever think about why I was in prison. What I thought about was I combated prison. I fought prison. I thought, I'm going to show them that they can't break me. That was my mentality. So there was no true soul work."
Oh, my God.
So, he had to get out and rape more.
Right. I never fixed myself back there.
Yeah.
I was just punching bags and welding shit and...
Well, don't worry, Tom, because you got a lot of time to fix yourself now.
Now you
prison,
can do it.
You stupid asshole. So, in 2000, now this is in 1986, he goes to jail. In 2000, a California judge rules that a sentencing error kept him in prison 6 years too long, and they were going to release him.
Oh, my God.
They're going to let him out. Yeah, that's what I said. Oh, my God,
oh, my
no.
God.
Luckily, Kentucky says,
comes to the rescue.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
We're extraditing him back to Kentucky.
We're going to provoke that fucking parole.
And there's...
Revoke.
Now,
Jesus.
this is the thing here. Now, he's sentenced under... This is all under 1971 sentencing guidelines. So this is why there's a big legal fight with him, because he's still in prison.
Yeah.
And we'll get to all this. But he goes back to Kentucky. He's extradited back to there. So he goes right back there. He's been trying to get out of prison this whole time. Jesus. He's got like 9.5 years between parole hearings. Like they're not
raping to do.
They don't. Yeah, they're not letting him out. Basically, they don't want him out.
Good.
His mother's sick, so he was trying to get out. There's a MoveOn.org petition to get him out based on the sentencing guidelines. He's like the longest serving prisoner sentenced under those guidelines.
He deserves it.
He deserves every fucking minute of it. Because since 1972, he's been in prison all but 3 years.
And in those 3 years, he's raping like a motherfucker.
Raping, doing movies. Yeah. Who knows? He could have raped Marsha Warfield for all we know. That poor woman. Let's hope not.
Does Marky Post have PTSD?
She might. We don't know. That's true. He only raped white women at this point, so maybe it was Marky Post. We'll see. So he's serving under that. He says about it, quote, "My life, whatever I have, I want it to be a benefit to someone. I want to be able to turn some people around so that they will have a conscience."
It's too late, motherfucker.
Too late. You can't rape all those people.
You had that opportunity the day that Kentucky said play for us.
Oh,
you had the opportunity.
Could have been a role model.
Could have been everything to everybody.
Could have been a role model for years for people. He could have, another guy.
Kentucky would have retired your fucking jersey.
He could have been, that's the thing. He could have been sitting back going to banquets later on with gray hair.
He could have had a fucking
not now
Thomas Payne day, like the Jackie Robinson day. He could have had a fucking day.
He would have had his own University of Kentucky TV show in the Louisville area.
When you died, Kentucky would lower their flag to half staff. For
syndicated radio show. Instead, he's hosting an in-house TV program in prison. Swear to God, encouraging young inmates to contribute to society.
Jesus, you had your chance, sir.
Keep them from raping. That's all we get. Just
keep your dick in your pants until she says take it out.
Unreal. That MoveOn.org signature, by the way, at the time I saw it, it was in 2011, and it only had 107 signatures, and it needed 200. So I don't know how that got
93
resolved.
shy.
93 shy. At this point, right now, there's a Facebook page with 1 like.
Nice.
And they
It's
post
his
a lot.
fucking wife.
And they post articles on him and like him trying to get out of jail and pictures of him like working out and like in prison and links to his interviews from prison.
Shopping in the fucking in the towel department at Target.
Absolutely. He says it's messed up.
Here's what we do. We send a fucking care package to him in prison, and it's just dish towels.
No, we don't want him to have.
I want him to have them in prison.
I don't want anybody having no dish towels. Keep all towels away from Tom Payne.
Send that man dish towels
God,
in prison. That would be hysterical.
I don't want some poor non-violent drug offender that's in there. Some poor guy got busted with a half ounce of weed.
Send him a postcard that says,
raped by Tom Payne.
Heard about you on Crime and Sports. Wanted to send you a gift.
I want to send you a gift. I don't have the information to write to Tom Payne, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can find it if you really want to. He says, quote, in their own words, quote, I'm not making any excuses for what I did. Here's what you've got to realize, and I hope I articulate this correctly. How a person does something is sometimes a mystery to the person. First of all, when I look back at my life, sometimes I don't even see myself. I'm talking about what you're talking about the crimes. I don't see myself doing what I did. Well, I bet those women fucking see it when they close their eyes.
Yeah.
The cops that drove by the apartment complex said, hey, there's Tom Payne raping a woman. They saw it as you went by.
You don't need to see yourself doing it.
Jackass. Oh, my God. And there's so many people trying to get him out of prison. It's not even funny.
What the fuck?
I'm telling you, it's a big movement because of the sentencing thing. They're not looking at anything but the sentencing guidelines because if you look at it, he is currently in prison technically for a rape that he committed in 1971.
Right.
So that's what they're saying. He's been in prison for, 45 years minus 3 years for a rape in 71. But yeah, guess what? There's a lot more to it, though.
Yeah.
There's also the aggravating factors. And why are we going to let this person out?
And here's the other thing. Yeah, he was
let him out.
Yeah, in 71 they gave him life. But doesn't he deserve life for being caught red-handed by the police?
Well, that's
an open and shut case.
Yeah.
Granted, they only gave him whatever time there. I don't give a shit.
But that would be the only reason for me to not want somebody to go to prison for life for like that kind of forcible rape like that. The only reason would be that little bit of doubt where, no, did he not do it? Is it a mistaken identity? He got caught in
Everything's the same. He did it.
Fine with him dying in prison.
Yeah.
I'm 100% fine with. I've said somebody stabbed Chad Curtis.
Yeah.
Feel free with this guy
Go
too.
ahead.
I don't give a shit. He's worthless.
Get rid of the
point to
spaghetti
me.
monster.
Fuck him. So, and then there's a guy too. Even this guy, Tom Campbell, he's the ex-director of the parole board, said that. Because he went 15 years without a hearing.
Yeah.
And he said that 15 years is a long time to wait for a hearing. But when it comes to sex offenders, board members are reluctant to re-release them.
Good.
Re-release.
Yeah.
Re-release.
Re-release.
We don't want to keep sending them out because we look bad when they come back.
Yeah.
With blood on them.
Right.
We look bad and go,
Because that blood is ours.
Yeah, because next time he will kill the woman.
Absolutely.
He won't attack them in public, and he'll kill the woman, and then you're going to have that on your hands.
Yeah.
So
he's going to force her into her bedroom with a crate and barrel rag over her face, and he will leave her blood all over that bedroom, and that is your fault.
Thankfully, he's still in prison.
Good.
And hopefully the state of Kentucky will keep him there
Fingers
forever.
crossed.
I don't care. Honestly, he's in his, what was he, 65 years old, 66 years old now.
66 this year,
Almost. This year he'll be 66 years old. I don't see a lot of 7'1" guys living that long.
No.
To in their 70s.
Not on prison food.
Pretty sure he's going to die soon.
I hope so.
So we got that going. So let's all root. Let's all, crime and sports universe, guys, crime and sports movement.
Take a moment, pray to whatever side the sun is at.
Whatever you got, if you go, I need this to happen, say,
Google Muslim prayer and stick with that.
Yeah, have him, I don't care, choke on a sandwich in there. I don't give a shit.
I don't care if it's a heart attack.
You know what I would like? Somebody rape him to death. That would be wonderful. Just rape Tom Payne to death because he
file down a toothbrush and rape him with a toothbrush.
Fitting. Put a dish towel around his head and get him going because I'm sick of this asshole. I swear to God, I'm pissed off at him personally.
Yeah.
Because I was on his side for a minute.
Yeah.
I was because I felt for the guy, and also too that was the other thing. I looked at his family. And I looked at the fact that out of all of 9 kids, I'm like, what are the odds that one and the oldest one, too, is that kind of a complete disaster, considering he wasn't up until that point? when all the other kids are...
The first one is always the baby. They always dote on that one, and they take care of him.
But all the other, like, they were so perfect and so successful, and they helped him, and he worked hard academically to make sure to get into Kentucky to play, and it was great. So I was like, this can't be right. You know what I mean? It can't be, and it sounded off when it sounded like he thinks he's going to be the first black player in the history of Kentucky and be a star, go off and make $800,000. Hell no, he's going to rot in a jail. I thought about that, and I'm like, yeah, these poor son of a bitch. And then the fucking dish towel in 86 comes back, and I could have strangled him myself, the son of a bitch. I want to rape Tom Payne. That's it. To death.
Let's start that movement.
Start the movement. Donate to the Patreon page to get me and Jimmie to Eiffel Tower Tom Payne to death. Do that. We get enough money to pay for the legal bills of what that would be.
We'll tie him up with dish towels.
And we will just Eiffel Tower the man to death. I swear to God at this point.
That will be the hardest high five I've ever given.
I hate this person a lot. I really hate him. And we're sorry to do 2 weeks in a row on rape.
Yeah.
We get it. We understand.
At least these were adults.
These were adults at least, yeah. And we get it's uncomfortable. Next week, by the way, we have...
I didn't say pussy once.
You didn't. Nice. That was pretty good, actually. That's good. You didn't say hymen at all either, which I was very proud of you for, because that's normally, that comes flying out of your mouth like...
I love that word. I listened to last week's episode, and saying pussy about an underage girl made me creep myself out.
Yeah, it creeped me out too. So we apologize for that also. No, we don't apologize. What happens, happens.
It does.
What happens, guys.
I'm sure he said it too in a more creepy way.
Oh God, who knows what he said? He's a total dirtbag. So, I mean, next week we have a guy who killed many people.
Yes.
It's a multiple murderer. It's the craziest person, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
He's so much fun, and so you want to hang out with this guy, and you want him off the streets at the same time. Put it that way. He's a lunatic, and he's still out there, which is great.
Fantastic.
He's avoided. It's amazing. This is going to be a great story.
It's going to be fun.
We'll tell you all about it next week. We're not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. Keep checking check the social media at Crime and Sports on Twitter. And you can find out that Facebook.com/Crime and Sports. You can find that all out. And and it's going to be a lot of fun next week. I'm telling you, that's going to be wild. And I hope you enjoyed Tom Payne. I thought it was important to do this one because it was like such an interesting societal story.
It really is.
That the psychology of it and the whole thing, and I like the dish towel coming back is like it was a good story.
And we kind of pride ourselves on the opportunity that these guys have had.
That
they've squandered.
And that's what
this one is more opportunity than anybody.
That's exactly
so far. This is the most opportunity handed to somebody.
Just about.
And just blown.
Had the goodwill of anyone who wasn't in the Klan.
Yeah.
For the whole country. Anyone not non-Klan member, he had the goddamn
You could root
goodwill.
for him.
Everybody wanted to root for him in that. Yeah, there are people up north, I'm sure, and not in the southern states. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in the southern states, too.
Probably, too,
that were like, Jesus Christ, give this guy a fucking break.
Sure.
He's trying to play
They
basketball.
just weren't in Kentucky.
He's just a skinny kid, or they were hiding in Kentucky going, yeah, get him. Yeah, we don't like him either. They don't want to be a part of it. But, yeah, so it's a mess. Join us next week. Also, to follow us, like I said, I gave you the Twitter and all that stuff, Patreon page, Gmail, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Jimmie, give them your social media info.
At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and I'll figure out Snapchat one day.
All right.
Anyway, so.
And I'm at Jimmie P is funny. You can find me wherever.
That's it.
Follow me. No big deal. But guys, we can't thank you guys enough.
Thank you so much.
We love you guys. We have a blast, and we're going to
review us on iTunes.
Please help us out.
Follow
Review
some
us
instructions.
For the love of God, help us out there. Yeah, that would be incredible. And please tell your friends. Keep it going. Crime and Sports movement. We want to keep growing, and we want to upgrade things, and we want to just be better and better and better. So for you guys, because we love doing it, and apparently
clearly you love listening to it.
Apparently a few of you at least like it. So what the hell? Let's do it together. Keep it moving. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire, and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus